Hi folks. I've been asked a few questions about 1099s, Google, YouTube, all that trivia. So I decided to just put together a quick little fact sheet. I wrote it out. You could find most of this information on the internet if you go through the trouble of looking. Just Google 1099 and tax rates and all that stuff. You'll find most of this. Notice I wrote it out in my best penmanship. And I did that so that, once again, somebody wouldn't copyright me and give me all kinds of grief. Basically, a 1099 is issued if payment of more than of $600 is paid, 600 or more. So, if for whatever reason your Google YouTube channel or the local guy you work for has paid you less than $600, he does not have to give you a 1099. But, and this is a big but, whether you make $10 or enough money to get a 1099, you're supposed to claim whatever you make as an independent contractor on your tax form under miscellaneous. So, the amount on your 1099 or whatever you theoretically make should be claimed as miscellaneous income. I'm not going to tell you to do this or not to do this because I'm not an accountant, but if it's if it's 600 or less, or if it's 599, let's make it 599 or less, they don't report it to the IRS, but everybody who pays out takes it off as an expense on their tax form. So they could have their books audited, at which time the IRS here in the United States, the Internal Revenue Service, could then take a look and say, oh, old Harvey there made $599 and I don't see it on his tax form under miscellaneous income. Even though we don't have a 1099, when we were auditing Google's books, we found it, so we want to talk to him. And no matter what, here in the United States, and I'm sure it's like this all around the world, you really don't want the government to start asking you questions. So it's better to be honest and get things done that way. So, whatever number you get on that 1099, you will owe 15.3% of it here in the United States for something known as self-employment tax, which is basically Social Security. If you're making, I don't know, 120, 30, whatever the top end for paying off Social Security is, and you're paying your half and you got a boss paying the other half, maybe you get around it and you don't have to pay it, but I don't think that involves too many of us. So, you basically owe 15.3% of your self-employed income as self-employment tax, which is basically Social Security. But you're able to deduct half of that self-employment tax from your federal income tax. And we'll go through a quick example here. And I made the numbers easy so that people could kind of scale them to their own situation. So for a quick example, let's pretend Google's paying you somewhere around $100 a month income, which means at the end of the year, you're going to get a 1099 for $1,200. And let's say you have $200 worth of deductions. So please save your receipts and keep track of your mileage on your car and all that other wonderful stuff. But let's pretend you have $200 worth of expenses for cameras and memories and replacement batteries and all that kind of wonderful stuff. That brings your self-employment income down to $1,000. And you're going to owe 15.3% of that. So you're going to owe $153 in self-employment tax. But you're not done yet. We got to keep going here. So, half of 153, remember you get to deduct half of that from your federal taxes, which means you get to deduct $76, right, from that $1,000, which leaves you $123.50. You actually get to deduct 76 and 50 cents, and that leaves you $923.50. And you put that under miscellaneous income. By the way, I'm not an accountant, nor do I play one on TV, but just roughly to give you an idea of what you're up to. So, here in the United States, right, if you're a single person and your income is between $0 and $9,300, you owe 10%, which means you owe $92.35 plus plus that $153, which means almost 25% of what you just made is going to the federal government in taxes and whatever you owe in state taxes. If you're married filing joint and you make less than $18,650, you owe that same amount, that $92.35 plus $153. As you start getting into a little better income, if you are single and you make more than $37,950, you will owe 15% of that $923.50, which means you will owe $138 plus the $153, which means now you're parting with over 30% of that money you just made. And if you're joint, it's $75,900, right? Now, if you're really making some good money, right, and most people in the United States, I think middle income is somewhere between 50 and 60,000. So now you're starting to get up there. You're almost talking double middle income. But then you owe 25%, which is $231, give or take a foot and a half, plus $153. That is just what you're going to owe the feds on your 1099 income. So, does it pay to save your receipts? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. But you got to be careful. You got to be careful with some of this stuff. Let's say you buy that snowblower right out there, the one I'm pointing at, for $50, and you make a video on it. Okay? And it turns out it was only bad gas, and you're able to, you buy it for $50, and once again, you make a video, you tell everybody how you just bought it for $50. And then you sell it for $250, and you make another video and you say, look, I made $200 on this snowblower, and all I had to do was flush out the bad gas and put 50 cents worth of good gas into it. Well, the 50 cents is tax deductible, but you now got to take $200 and add that to your income also, right? It would be some could call it a short-term capital gain, or you just made $200 in self-employment income. Guess what? You get to add that and run all that through these numbers also. So, one of the reasons why here at the Hoard, it's very rare that I sell something, and I mean that literally. A lot of times I'd rather give something away, quite honestly, because if I sell it and make much money, right, I kind of find myself in a bad place. Now, let's say I bought that snowblower for $50, and it turned out to be a complete and total loser, right? And I just drag it to the end of the driveway and it gets carted away, right? It goes out in the trash. I don't sell it for scrap or anything else. It just goes out with trash. At that point, theoretically, that snowblower was a prop in my video. It was in my video. It never did anything for me. It's not a possession, it's gone. It came in, it was in a video, and now it's gone. I believe, and talk to your accountant about this, but I believe all props in videos could be considered tax deductible. So that's another 50 bucks theoretically off your taxes. If you just say, well, I paid 50 bucks for it and I gave it to a friend, I gave it away as a gift, I'm not sure you can do the same tax gig with that either. I don't believe you could deduct the 50 bucks and then give it to somebody, because now you've just given somebody a gift, and normally gifts are not tax deductible. About contests and that kind of stuff, if you go through some of the Adsense stuff, I'm not sure we're allowed to do that anymore, right? Because now you're theoretically offering some kind of payment with the chance to win a contest as you know, for watching your videos, which means you're theoretically offering some reward for watching your videos and watching the AdSense commercials, right? So I'm not sure if that's allowed anymore. And you can contact Google, but if you have my size channel, contacting Google or YouTube, they basically, the people they hired or the people that answer your questions, they're not really meant to answer their questions. They're just meant to answer the mail, right? So you send them an email and you say, can I do this or not? And they basically respond green and say the question's been answered. Well, green is an answer, but it's not an answer to the question that's been asked. And I've been having that problem when I keep asking, why are you knocking my videos offline out of AdSense advertising? And they, you know, well, you got to follow the guidelines. I followed all the guidelines. What's the problem? And they won't take the 3 minutes to watch the video or the 5 minutes to watch the video and say, oh, the problem is you use this word, or the problem is we don't like the format that you're recording your videos in, or the problem is you're not a verified partner, so your videos get a lot of extra scrutiny because we have no clue who you are, or if you're a bunch of people, right? So we really run you through the small filters, and if you say the word orange wrong, we're gonna hang up your videos, right? At my level of YouTube, what they consider contribution, I don't get that dedicated person that I could contact. So anyway, there you are. I hope this was helpful, the whole 1099 thing. For some of you folks who say, well, I didn't get a 1099, that means you're probably doing under $600. Where does the 1099 go? My 1099 comes right to the house, because part of getting paid these days, which means you got to give them a bank account, a home address, and all of that. And you have to give it to them. Though Google could probably find it on their own, you have to give it to them, or you know, they don't look it up for you. You got to give them all that information. Anyway, folks, once again, I hope this helped. I am not an accountant. I am not a doctor or a brain surgeon. I'm none of those things. So please do not consider this legal or tax advice. Hire an accountant and pay them to do that for you, or, you know, find somebody in the family who has that education and, you know, use their mind. But just to let you know, you really do want to save your receipts, and you really do want to keep track of your miles. Not that my income from YouTube is all that high, but even if you're the, you know, the $100 a month guy, or I'm the $100 a month guy, right? I owe 9235 plus the Social Security number, right? 153. If I can't come up with a bunch of deductions to get that $100 a month down. That's why you'll see some of the people with the bigger channels where they say, hey, I went out and got a shop. I have a shop now. Well, that's cool. Also, if you're older if you're collecting Social Security, you only have to, that kind of brings this number down a little bit. I think you only have to pay half your outside income deducts from Social Security. Anyway, I'm not exactly sure about that. Once again, I'm not an accountant, and if you've built your channel up enough, get yourself an accountant, which, by the way, is tax deductible. Right? You get to put the accountant's expense, $200 for camera, and then the other $200 for an accountant, if that's what your accountant charges you. Once again, I hope this was helpful. Folks, I want you all to keep your feet down, keep your heads up, and I want to thank you all for watching and commenting and subscribing and supporting my channel. Take care now, folks. Bye.